Bully, bully. Well, sometimes it's not nice things around bulls like the Bradford bulls. Sometimes when we're talking about bulls, we can be talking about bullies. And it's time bullies get what's due to them. And that's exactly what's going to happen in a new children's book. And joining me now is the author and poet, Juleus Ghunta. And he's released his first children's book, Tata and the Big Bad Bull, as part of the Bradford Literature Festival. And I'm delighted to say he joins us now in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's really a great pleasure to be here.
No, it's our pleasure indeed. So, a new book, that's quite exciting, that moment when it comes out.
Yeah, it is really exciting. You know, this journey started in Japan 3 years ago, where I lived for several years. And it was extremely difficult to get the manuscript done and to get it illustrated. And to see the physical book now is just unbelievable. It's a really great achievement for me and the publisher and everyone who participated in this process. And of course, it's an added bonus to have it launched here in the UK at such an impressive festival as this one.
So what inspired you to write it?
Well, so I had a very difficult childhood, and as a result of financial struggles and similar problems, I learned to read at a very late age. In fact, I was the only student from my class in grade 6 who was forced to repeat the 6th grade because I was unable to read. And the year I learned to read, I got very excited about literature. I went into the school library but could not find books with stories about black boys like myself. And it felt like a very audacious dream then, because I had just learned to read, but I vowed to write such stories, and I'm happy that the first one is out. So it's a very personal book. The story is mine. My mother was unable to pay my bus fare to go to school on many mornings, and as a result of that, I had to go through a shortcut, and it was very dangerous because it was the home to very many fierce bulls. And on my way home one evening, I was attacked by a bull. And I was, and I was fortunate to escape unharmed. And so this bull in this story is that bull that attacked me as a child. But as you read in the press release we sent to you, the bull is a metaphor of sorts for the many difficult childhood experiences that I went through and how I managed to persevere and overcome them.
So where were you raised?
I grew up in Hanover in Jamaica. Hanover is a very rural parish, and unfortunately, very many people struggle financially in that parish.
Well, from somebody who's gone from being held back in school because you weren't able to read, you developed this amazing passion. You must have done, because you're now a master's student, aren't you, at the university? So that's telling to me that you really developed a passion once you learned to read, to really go forward with it.
Yeah, I have worked extremely hard. In the past few years or so, I've purchased hundreds of books on Amazon. I've acquired probably many more than that from friends and so on. So I've worked extremely hard to get here, but it was a very difficult journey. And you know, sometimes when people find themselves in situations like these, they tend to become the center of attention. You know, but it's very important for me to express that I had help when I needed it, and it's very important for people to understand this, that no one can do it alone. It has been a rather interesting journey for me. And because of my particular challenges, I have a very acute understanding of illiteracy and the shame and the denigration that are associated with that. And in addition to telling my stories, which is what this is about, it is for catharsis for me, I am also keen on helping young people who are going through similar circumstances to see what is possible for their lives.
So as you say, it's quite cathartic, quite therapeutic really to write it, but obviously a lot of you is in the book and your life and everything else. Great stories, but also very powerful message for young people as well.
Yeah, it is. And, I've lived here for a few months now. I'm on a Chevening scholarship. And I'm sometimes quite displeased, to use a euphemism, with what I see in the city in terms of the young people. And I think here and right across the UK, certainly in Jamaica, right across the world, we need to find ways to encourage our young people, to give them a sense of self. And I think this festival is a very good thing for this city from that perspective.
So you're going to be speaking at the festival about your book?
So yes, so fortunately I was given 45 minutes to launch the book, so it will be launched here, so that is really exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. So I'll just talk a little bit about that. So the book will be launched on the 30th of June at the City Hall at the Ernest Saville Room, and the time is 2 p.m. to 2:45. And tickets are really cheap. There's £3 for both adults and children. And of course, if you need more information, you can go to the Bradford Litfest website. The book is available on Amazon in paperback format now. And you may also order the hardback, which will be sent to you when it is ready. The cost is £8, very reasonable, and for the paperback, and $15.25 for the hardback. And in a few days, I will have some hard copies, and hard copies will also be available at Blackwell's bookstore at the University of Bradford.
It's going to be quite a moment when you actually hold that book in your hand, isn't it?
Yeah, someone sent me a picture earlier today with the book. I don't have a physical copy yet, so I was very jealous, to be honest. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. I actually have a proof copy here, but the final copy is very different from what I have here. More pages, a much better ending than what we had before, and I'm really proud of this work, to be honest. We worked really hard at it. I'm so appreciative of the people who helped me to bring this to fruition, particularly Carol Mitchell, the publisher at Caribbean Reads, who is just remarkable and knew what I wanted to say and helped me to say it. And so I'm indebted to her for her patience and generosity. I'm happy to be able to publish this book, but more important than that, it's the opportunity to tell my story, to be seen, to be visible, to feel as though I'm being heard and that my story is valid. So it is an amazing feeling.
So how long did it take you to actually write it?
So I started this on a train 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago in Japan, where I taught for a few years. And it's 3.5 years now. It's quite a long time.
It is quite a long time.
I had initially planned to self-publish this book and then decided to search for publishers. Unfortunately, found Caribbean Reads. But in between that, I'd sent to numerous publishers and, of course, which is a part of the process, received numerous rejections. And many, many illustrators. And I want to say something too about the illustrator. The illustrator is Anne-Catherine Liu, who's from Sweden but lives here in Cambridge, and she did a remarkable job. So I need to say a big thank you to Anne-Catherine Liu as well. Yeah.
And what age is it aimed at?
Children from about 4 to 12 would be a good age for this. Yeah, but also very many lessons in it for adults as well.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us and telling us all about your book. It sounds quite interesting. Sounds like quite a good read for adults, like you say. I might just be sneaking a little peek at that now before you disappear. But yes, it sounds really good, and we wish you every success with the launch of it. I'm sure it's going to be a magnificent day for you. And that moment when you stand there with that book in your hand is going to be amazing, isn't it? So thank you very much for joining us. That's Juleus Ghunta, the author of the new book, Bullies Get What's Due, which is going to be launched at the Bradford Literature Festival. It is 39 minutes past 4 here on Drive.